This is a video from eSkills Zone. For more videos, notes, and certificates, please visit www.eskillszone.com.
Hello and welcome. Hi viewers. Today in this video we will discuss the next step of problem solving process, and it is called the write the program coding. It's also called programming, since whatever the program you actually develop to solve a problem is also called source code. So the process is called coding, and the phase or the process of doing or develop a program is called programming. So we can also call the process coding as programming. So we will discuss this step today in detail. So it will call the module number 4, and the step is the number 5. So we will type here module 4 and the step number 5, and name of this very step is, we will type the heading write the program, which is called, since it is a process, so we'll call it coding. Now I'll discuss this in detail. So viewers, actually this very step involves the conversion of an algorithm to a program written in any programming language. So there are multiple programming languages are available used for programming, like the most popular are C++, Java, C#. So all these are very popular languages in the world, still used till today, and there are almost according to my knowledge 50 programming languages are there, out of which these are one of the most popular languages used worldwide, especially for app programming, gaming programming, and like Google Map programming, Windows operating systems programming. And now we'll discuss this. For this purpose we will continue where we left. The programmer must know the syntax. So this is a very technical word used over here, syntax. I'm gonna type this one in the bracket, enclosing bracket. Syntax is the grammatical rule for writing, certain computer program. It's called the syntax. I'm gonna bold it and underline it as well. So syntax of the programming language chosen. So it depends what type of language you're going to use. I've just named some of them, like C, C++, Java, C#, Python, Perl. All are very popular languages used all around the world. Now I'm going to type with the grammatical rules of a programming language to write programs are referred to as syntax of that programming language. Since I'm a teacher, so I actually most of the times I teach my students to be very familiar with all the technical terms used in the computer world, because computer has its own language, so we must take care of it whenever we need to explain and discuss things in detail, because there are the language. The rules which are used for writing any programming language are called syntax. It's not called the grammatical rules or grammar. So we have to be very careful and take care of all these things, that we should use all the typical words and all the typical and the technical terms which are actually used in the programming or in the computer world. So syntax is the word which is commonly used for defining the grammatical rules of writing any programming language or a computer program. So we have discussed the module 4, and we're gonna discuss the next one. Next phase, or you can call the next step, is the test and debug the program. It is a very detailed step, so I'm gonna explain it to you guys. The module number is module number 4, and the step name is module, which we're gonna discuss today, is module 6, and the name is test and debug the program. We have discussed this the definition of debugging before, because the process of finding and removing errors is called debugging. It's a very popular term definition used in programming world. So we're gonna discuss this now, that this stage requires evaluating the program to verify that it works as desired. Don't rely on just one test case. Run the program several times using different set of data, making sure that it works correctly for every situation provided in the algorithm. If it is not producing desired results, then errors, or you can call them bugs, must be pointed out and debugged. Debugging is the process of finding and removing, I'm gonna bold it because we are discussing the definition of it, and removing errors in the program. You can call the computer program more typical. There can be 3 types of programming errors, like syntax errors, runtime errors, and the last one is called, or you can call runtime as the execution errors, because whenever we execute a program we may face such type of errors, execution errors. And the last one is the logical errors. So now we're going to discuss the first one, which is the syntax errors. We will type the heading over here. we'll type over here the heading of it. Syntax errors. Syntax error, or we can type a syntax error, occurs when the program violates one or more grammatical rules of the programming language. These errors are detected at compile time, that is, when the translator, compiler, or interpreter attempts to translate the program. You know very well the computer doesn't understand the high level language, so it always needs and requires a translator, which are technically called compiler or interpreter. In the old days, interpreter were used, but nowadays, in the recent time modern era, compiler is used because compiler are more faster than interpreter, and compiler compile the whole program at once instead of, unlike the interpreter, which interpret line by line and it stops execution whenever it finds any errors, whereas comparatively compiler once compile the whole program in one go and tell you all the number of errors it may find after the program execution. So we have used the technical word compiler interpreter. So when the translator attempts to translate the program, there can be any there can be many reasons. For example, trying to execute a wrong program, statement, or command, such as typing print instead of print statement, or trying to assign a value to a constant such as 5 equal to count, etc. So basically all the statements, all the commands are typed in a specific format. The names given to the commands and the statements must be followed while typing any computer program. So if we don't follow it, then the compiler generates an error, and the type of error it may generate in such a way, in such case, is known as syntax errors. So it's basically the grammatical rules, and if a programmer violate or ignore and does not type the program according to the grammatical rules, then the type of error a programmer can have after the execution is called syntax errors. So we must type over here that you would like to tell you guys that, do you know, if there's a technical thing, I'm going to tell you that division by 0 is undefined. It's a type of undefined error. If you find any kind of division by 0 error in a program. So the next error I'm going to tell you guys is the runtime errors. The second one discussed in the test and debug phase. The second one is the runtime errors. A runtime error occurs when the program directs the computer to perform an illegal operation, such as dividing a number by 0. Runtime errors are detected and displayed by the computer during the execution of the program. So execution is basically we can define that in such a way that the translation of program from the source code to the object code is called execution. So execution is being done while translation is being done from the high level programming language to a low level, so that we can get the required output of that program to solve a specific problem. So we were talking that during the execution of the program, when a runtime error occurs, the computer will stop executing the program and may display a diagnostic message that helps in locating the error. So viewers, we have discussed the module number 4, write the program coding, module 5, test and debug the program, and we have discussed 2 different errors, syntax errors and runtime errors in detail. So that's all for today, and in the upcoming videos we will discuss the next remaining steps, which will be 3 steps will be discussed later on in later videos. They implement the program, maintain, update the program, and document the program, and we will also discuss the last type of error, which is the logical error, which is a very important type of error we will discuss in our next video. So that's all, viewers. Take care. Thanks for watching.